What would you say to somebody who has been a one-woman band for a long time? Maybe they've outsourced a few bits to like freelancers, and they're getting to the point where they're like, I actually can't manage, but they're afraid of all of this stuff and they feel out of their depth. Obviously, they should just call you.
Number one.
But in terms of just advice to kind of make it less intimidating and to go about finding the right people, what would you advise that they do just to get that ball rolling?
Well, I think there's a few different things in here because actually there are quite a few processes that you need to go through. So I think that's what scares people as well. It's almost that kind of like, how do you eat the elephant thing? They see this massive issue of like, oh God, I need to bring someone on. Oh, I don't know where to start. But it's like the way to eat an elephant is bite by bite, right? You can't eat the whole thing at once. So go through each of those processes individually and ensure that you're able to kind of manage each step as you go along. So don't feel overwhelmed. It is an overwhelming big task to do potentially, but there are ways and means of making it more manageable. So, make sure you've got the right job description in place, make sure you've got all your HMRC and all your, payroll stuff sorted out, then start looking for someone, then go through a recruitment process, and then, make sure you've got all your contracts of employment, employee handbooks, all of that kind of sorted. So like all of those things can happen at once, but it's much, much more manageable if you do it sort of step by step.
Yeah. And maybe if you're thinking that that's in your future, you can kind of nibble away at the elephant ahead of time.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. So that it feels less overwhelming when you actually go to do it. Because like all of that HMRC stuff, I mean, it's all important, but it doesn't mean that you're committed. You're just kind of getting things, the foundation ready.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, like I said, writing job descriptions or even things like writing process notes and stuff. You think, oh my God, I've got to write 1,200 process notes. Well, actually, if you think maybe in 6 months' time, I'm going to need someone, start doing that stuff now. Like when you're doing these tasks, start writing a process notes or start, making Loom videos of you doing things, because then again, you've got this bank ready to go for when that person starts. So there's ways and means of making it more bearable, basically.
Yeah. And also that person can then hit the ground running. You've got it all there. You don't, it's again, you're not trying to eat the elephant at once. You've kind of done some of it already and you're getting the most out of that person.
Totally. Because the only other thing I was going to say is, and again, I talk about quite a lot about this on social media, is don't overlook onboarding either. Like once you've actually got the person, because everyone talks about first impressions in recruitment, right? But onboarding is also a first impression. Like I've done exit interviews for people that 2-3 years down the line when they leave will tell me in their exit interview how terrible their onboarding was, how bad their first day was, how disorganized, the computer wasn't ready and their manager was on holiday and like they didn't know where to find anything for weeks. Like all of that stuff, again, you can have totally like prepped and ready in advance, and you can have a very simple checklist of things that need to be covered off in the first couple of days, just so that you both don't feel completely overwhelmed by getting this person up and running.
Yeah, I always think that those first few days in a new job are quite terrifying at times. For a person starting a new job, it makes such a difference if, again, you don't want to feel like you're floundering or you're unsure. If you just have a computer, you know what you're doing, you're given some tasks, you're given some time as well. If people really remember that, and it's so interesting that they're citing that in exit meetings with you years later.
Yeah.
Because first days of anything kind of do lodge themselves in your memory. And that's your first impression of your employer. So it works both ways.
Exactly. And I think that's what people forget. They forget that there is this two-way street, because it's all well and good that the person wants to make a good impression, but you as their new employer, that's really important to make a good impression as well.